Welcome back everybody, I hope you're having a beautiful day today. In today's adventure of an episode, we're going to be reading some concerning Reddit stories and it's going to be so fun. And I hope you're excited, I'm definitely excited. If you enjoy, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe if you want to. And let's get into it. Enjoy guys. In yesterday's episode, we read such a frustrating post about a sister and their parents that expected OP to give them their house. There is an update to that post here, so I'm going to read that one first. The post is called, "Am I the a-hole for buying my sister's dream house?" And if you haven't seen the original one from the last episode, definitely check that out. That was unbelievable. OP bought a $800,000 house, and their sister genuinely expected OP to give them the house. It was a level of entitlement I don't feel like I've ever seen before. But yeah, here's the update. Am I the a-hole for buying my sister's dream house? For the goddamn life of me, I can't get the poster link, but I'm sure if you're reading this, it's because you've already read my original post. If somebody would link it in the comments, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you to everybody for being so supportive and offering advice. To those who suggested getting a security system in my place, we are going to do that, but the house is not in a place where a security system can be installed. For the time being, we're looking into getting some battery-powered trail cameras as suggested by one Redditor. I can't find your comment in the sea of comments anymore, but you know who you are. We don't have to worry about internet access as they won't be in the way of renovations. We are restoring the house back to its original glory, pre the carpeted bathrooms and the mismatching wallpaper. Besides fixing broken crap and upgrading old appliances, we'll be having the floors redone, paint, wallpaper, new windows, and opening up some walls that shouldn't be there. For the next 2 weeks, my wife and I are going to be meeting people coming out to work on electricity and plumbing and a few other things, and we do have a consultation with a home security company. Along with cameras, we're looking to get alarms and door codes and set up an access gate around the property. Yeah, that's definitely smart, OP. One of those ones that needs either a passcode or to be let in by somebody in the house. We've already made an appointment to have the locks changed and we aren't really concerned about my family trying to squat there. My in-laws have allowed us to park their camper trailer on the property while work is being done, not only for peace of mind but to avoid commuting back and forth multiple times a day. But for the actual update, I was hesitant to post this update since it's been so soon after my original post, but I guess enough has happened for it to be useful information. The events of the barbecue that we had took place last week, but I only got around to writing it all out yesterday. I sent a message to my parents and siblings yesterday evening, asking to meet up and talk things through and try to figure out what's wrong and what actually the hell is happening. Earlier today, my wife and I met my parents and my brother's family at his house before my sister arrived. I let them know that if they tried to interrupt or control the conversation that we'd leave. I told them that I never once even suggested that my sister would be allowed to rent out the house or buy it from us, that you didn't know where she got that idea from, and I showed them the text strings where I first sent her the listing and every conversation where I updated her on the progress. My mum asked to see the rest of the conversations about the house and I told her there were none. She informed me that my sister told them all that we had made an arrangement that my wife and I would purchase it and then rent it out to my wife's family until they'd paid enough to buy it, that we would live in the guest house and they'd get the main house. Oh, so that's why they backed up the sister so much. The sister bloody lied to them. That still doesn't excuse the stuff that the parents said though. She told them that we'd gone back on our deal and had absolutely shattered her dreams of raising her kids in the house that she grew up in. We gave our side and it wasn't difficult at all to convince my parents that we were telling the truth. With the lack of evidence on my sister's part and absolutely no legal documentation, my parents didn't even try to attempt to back up what she told them. My parents were very apologetic and let us know that they never would have said those things to us had they known the truth, and that they did support us 100%. My brother was supportive of us as well, but he was never one of the people harassing us over this, so his reaction is less important too. Around then, my sister and her husband showed up. My brother-in-law is a doormat and will give my sister whatever she wants, so I wasn't expecting much out of him. I asked her to produce any of the necessary evidence to prove that I told her that we'd rent the house out to her, that her lie was ill-conceived and she better have a good explanation. She attempted to suggest that I deleted the conversation, but when she couldn't produce the messages either, her story fell apart. She started crying, saying that it wasn't fair that we got everything handed to us. Oh my god. Oh yeah, working your ass off and saving up for an $800,000 house. Oh yeah, that's definitely having everything handed to you. What a joke. And that we didn't need a house this big, and that we were rubbing our wealth in her face. So to my understanding, she thought that she could trick everybody into bullying us into renting our house out to her, I guess. Like some kind of messed up in the head Scooby-Doo villain. Instead of using ghosts to scare us away, she's using a fake rental agreement that she didn't even attempt to make look or sound legit. We let her know that she had a lot of apologizing to do before we'd would consider having a relationship with her moving forward, and that she wouldn't be welcome in our home for a long time. At the moment, our relationship with my parents is rocky at best, for obvious reasons. They let us know that they're here to support us if we need moving assistance or help with renovations, but it will take some good hard thinking to decide if we're okay with that. We will not be giving anybody in my family a spare key, but my wife's parents will receive one for emergencies. The house won't be in a state to host guests for a bit, so we are choosing to cross the "can my family be trusted at our home" bridge when we come to it. To answer some of the questions I've noticed in the comments, my sister obviously has some screws loose, but my parents don't really coddle her. She's what you consider the golden child and the baby, but most of her antics up until this point were just one-upping achievements during our childhood or seeking more attention from her parents. She's dramatic, entitled, and a little bit selfish, but has never displayed this level of crazy before. And yeah, we will get a security system, but not for a bit. No, my family will not be trusted with a key. Yes, I'm a woman. I know it's crazy how two women can be married, lol. My wife and I do not have kids, and we will not have them in the future. My sister has done some odd things, but nothing as absolutely absurd as this. We will be meeting with an estate planner to put everything into writing. We plan on leaving the property to my sister-in-law and her kids, with my mother-in-law as the executor of our estate for the time being. My sister and her family rent a small house in town. They're not struggling per se. They are each college educated and they have good jobs, but children are expensive, and then adding in student debt and $2,000 a month in rent, and you aren't exactly living it up. Also, there's a surprising amount of people mad at my wife and I for being rich. We're not wealthy. My in-laws are comfortable and are generous enough to allow us to occupy their rental at no charge. They bought a new house decades ago and just didn't sell their previous one, so they allowed my wife to live there. The down payment was my wife's college fund from years ago. Her parents put money in it, but when she decided to go into a trade, they kept the money and saved it specifically for the purpose of a down payment. When we told them that the house was up for sale, they finally offered the college fund that they'd kept for her. We worked good paying jobs, but we were able to save so much because we didn't have to pay $2,000 a month for housing. We didn't skimp and save, and we did damn well earn it. We lived below our means and spent years forgoing any kind of luxuries to afford something that we wanted. So you're not as drama-filled as a lot of people were expecting or hoping. I don't see this as the end of it, not at all, but for the time being, my wife and I are focusing on dealing with our new house and not my sister. She's blocked on both of our phones as of this morning, and I'm not sure when I plan to unblock her. Wow, that's so interesting. So completely lied to your parents. Like, that doesn't excuse what they said in the last post, but it definitely makes a lot more sense. Your sister was making stuff up. But also, did the sister even apologize? OP told their sister that they've got a lot of apologizing to do, but it didn't say that she ever did actually apologize. I want to know what the sister said when OP told him to apologize, but yeah, I'm guessing that they don't feel bad at all. No, you were meant to give me the house. It's not fair. You get everything handed to you, even though you paid for it yourself. So ridiculous. Wow, the top comment. And I would have gotten away with this house if not for those meddling lesbians. That's so funny. Yeah, like OP said, she's a bloody Scooby-Doo villain. If it wasn't for you and also logic and common sense, maybe I could have gotten a house given to me. Yeah, the second top comment. Crazy how she got that idea into her head and decided that it was good enough to try and trick your entire family. Thank you for the update, OP, and I hope you enjoy your home as soon as it's completed. Yeah, and the comment under that, the sad part is the parents' gut reaction was to believe it. Most sane people would think, why the hell would OP do that? Yeah, 100%, the parents' reaction was still super weird. But yeah, the sister is super entitled and super jealous. But yeah, hopefully that's kind of the end of it. Post number 2. Am I the a-hole for causing my son to lose his child? My son and his girlfriend have been together for about a year when she became pregnant accidentally. My wife was thrilled because she was looking forward to being a grandmother. He decided to stay with her, but a few days later began hanging out with his ex. We know because she lives nearby and I've seen them together. I confronted him and he said that his girlfriend's okay about it. I don't believe it as they're still together, but I'm old and I can't really fathom what that kind of relationship would be like. I've been cheated on and it was a huge betrayal that I haven't forgotten about. My wife told me to drop it, but I just didn't believe him when he said that they decided to open up the relationship. I decided that if she knew about it, if I asked her about it, then it wasn't a big deal. I asked her if she was okay with an open relationship with the father of her child, and she had no idea what I was talking about. I realized that she'd never had that conversation with him, and I admitted that I'd seen him with his ex and he told me that she was okay with it because they'd opened up the relationship. She began to cry and left. A few hours after, I get a call from my son who was screaming at me for interfering with his relationship. My wife is also extremely angry with me, saying that I was jeopardizing our chances of being in our grandchild's life. Long story short, they broke up. She moved out of their place to her parents' house. It's been a few weeks and a few days ago she told my son that she had an abortion and so they had nothing to do with each other anymore and to never contact her again. My son and wife know that it's my fault and say that she wouldn't have found out if it wasn't for me. OP, it's not your fault. My wife has brought up divorce, saying that I'm not loyal to my my family, so how can she know that I'll be loyal to her? Oh my god, what? Yeah, divorce her, OP, she sucks. I'm so sad about how it ended, and I'm regretting saying anything if this is the results. Oh my god, please tell me this isn't real. OP, your son and your wife are terrible. You're not the a-hole, and you're not the reason that all of this happened either. Your son is OP. I can't believe that. Surely it's rage bait or something. Yeah, the top comment, my son and my wife know that it's my fault. That is complete and utter BS. It's your son's fault entirely. He chose to cheat, he chose to lie. If he were a decent, loyal, honest person, they'd still be together and expecting a child. The fact that both he and his mother are blaming you is just more proof that he's a bad person, and so is your wife. I'd tell both of them to get the hell out of your life and your home until they learn to take responsibility for their own actions. Also, based on how she handled this, I'd bet real money that your wife has cheated and lied herself at least once too, not the a-hole. Yeah, that's so sad. OP, you're not in the wrong here. I feel so sorry for you. And what an awful reaction from your wife too. Ew. It's not your fault that he cheated, and his partner didn't want to have a child with a liar. Yeah, this comment, your son's a piece of crap. This is his fault and nobody else's, not the a-hole. The comment under that one says, you're not loyal to the family. Says the wife who condoned her son to cheat on his pregnant girlfriend. Makes me wonder if she's been loyal to you, OP, not the a-hole. OP left a comment that said, I think she means loyalty to her and our son, and that doesn't include his ex-girlfriend. I don't think she cares that much that my son cheated. Yeah, the comment under that one, your wife sounds more and more terrible. This comment says, apparently OP, you're the only loyal one in your own family. I guess your wife and your son don't share the same values that you do. If I had been the girlfriend, I would have also wanted to know, not the a-hole. This comment says, not the a-hole. Considering how quickly she had an abortion and your son's and your wife's reaction to it, I've got a feeling that she didn't even want to have a child and was pressured by your son to have one. Additionally, the way that you describe your son and his relationship, I feel like there was more going on than he's letting on. In my opinion, it sounds like your son is very toxic and manipulative and is probably the community ding-dong, aka he's a habitual cheater, using the common BS excuse that many cheaters use. She was okay with it as they had an open relationship. Due to his reaction to finding out about the abortion, he was probably trying to keep his ex tied to him to keep her from leaving. Toxic a-holes like your son always think that getting their girlfriend or their wife pregnant would prevent them from leaving them, no matter what they do or how they treat them. They also almost always assume that their girlfriend or wife would never think of getting an abortion, much less go through with it, which is why they have such a huge outburst when it does happen. I also think that your wife knew about it as well when you think about her reaction. She was too comfortable and familiar with his first ex being around. Instead of being upset at her son for being a lying, cheating a-hole, she defended him and shifted all the blame onto you for the decision somebody else made themselves. She seemed too desperate and focused on the possibility of having a grandchild, almost like your son and wife were planning something, such as waiting until she gave birth and then have him break up with her so they can get shared custody or something. She's probably cheating too. Cheaters are quick to defend their own. Yeah, 1,000,000%. What a disgusting situation. I want to give OP a hug. I feel sorry for them. Imagine having a liar of a son and also a morally questionable wife. Oh, that's so bad. But no, none of this makes you the a-hole, OP. The next story is called, Am I the a-hole for telling a parent that their kid's weird when she pushed as to why my kid didn't want to be her friend? My family and I have moved states. It has been a hard move, especially for my oldest daughter. Okay, so that has 2 T's, so it's not Katie, is it? Catty? She's in grade 6. The area school district has a Facebook account that parents are a part of. I introduced myself on there a while ago. We put Catty on the cross-country team and she's been making friends over the summer. I got a message from a parent last week asking to meet up and let the kids meet. They would be in the same grade and I thought it would be a good opportunity. We went yesterday at the local pool. I met Melanie and she wouldn't make eye contact, was very soft-spoken and overall didn't seem to be paying attention. The kids were playing while I talked to the mum. She's always been in the area and was excited that her kid was getting a friend. Catty came up to me asking to leave since she wasn't feeling well. We left early and in the car she admitted to just wanting to get away from Melanie. She explained that Melanie freaked her out. She was super touchy, kept pushing her in the water, was whispering, saying stuff under her breath, would stare at people and make comments, comparing people to bugs. I'm still confused on what that means. Catty told me she was uncomfortable and doesn't want to hang out with her again. The parent messaged me and asked when they could do it again. I told her the girls didn't mesh well and that we'll have to decline. She then called me asking what I meant. I told her that Catty wasn't interested in hanging out since they don't mesh together. I was trying to be polite about it. This went on for a while and she told me that the kids just needed to be around each other more. I told her no to that. It went on for a while and she asked to talk to my husband, which is when I snapped. I told her no and I was trying to be polite, but your kid's weird. Melanie makes my kid uncomfortable and I don't know what the hell is up with her, but we're not going to have another play date. She went on Facebook and it's going around about how the new family are jerks. It seems to not be going anywhere, but I'm wondering if I was a ding-dong. Wow, the asking to talk to your husband is so wild. Like, put your husband on. Maybe that'll change your mind. The top comment says she asked to speak to your husband, as in she thought that was the social equivalent of asking for the manager. Let me speak to the person in charge of you, basically. No, absolutely not. Not the yay-hole. My guess would be that there's a reason why her daughter evidently doesn't have any friends, and at least some of that originates with the mother. The comment under that says, right, that would send me into a rage. Are you kidding me? My husband's not my keeper, nor does he have sole authority over this household. What year's this lady living in, lol? Yeah, that's such a wild thing to say. Let me speak to the manager, your husband. I don't think I would have called their kid weird though. Like, you're not the a-hole for what you said to the mum, definitely not. But like this comment says, your kid is weird is an attack. Your kid's behavior makes my kid uncomfortable, and I'm not forcing her to be around somebody that makes her uncomfortable. Is just standing up for your kid. OP did the right thing, was just careless about the wording. Yeah, and you were being polite, OP. The other mum wasn't being polite though, and kept on pushing you. And yeah, then that infuriating comment about talking to your husband. I feel like a lot of people also would have snapped at that point too. I like this comment. I think you could have kept that last comment to yourself and just said something like, sorry, my kid is not interested, and I'm not going to force her to befriend anybody. I hope you can find another play date, but I can assure you, my husband would also tell you the same, and he's busy. So let's skip that part. Yeah, like of course, you don't want to be calling somebody else's child weird. But yeah, the mum sounds pushy and pretty unreasonable. Yeah, and then for her to go onto Facebook and say that the new family are jerks. No, I don't feel like you're the a-hole for how you spoke to her, OP. You tried to be polite, you tried to be polite again. She was super rude, and then you snapped. Yeah, this comment too. Given the mum's Facebook smear campaign isn't going anywhere, I have a hunch that the rest of the school parents know the kid's mum is a big part of the problem. Yeah, 1,000,000%. Story number 4 is on the Entitled People subreddit. Disclaimer, all names below have been changed. My wife's Aunt Louise is a great lady. She and her husband lived in the San Francisco Bay Area and bought their home in the late 1970s. After her husband passed away, she sold her home for well over $1 million and moved back to live closer with her family, where she grew up in farming areas in Southern California. She does live very frugally, so doesn't really have to worry about money. Aunt Louise had 3 children, who are now all in their 40s and early 50s. The 2 oldest are nice, normal people. Her youngest, Kay, is a real piece of work. She meets all the criteria for a psychological diagnosis of narcissism. Aunt Louise just turned 70. She's so happy about it. She had some health scares last year, and she decided to celebrate. She's a very kind and giving person, and celebrating to her means doing something nice for others. Aunt Louise has 3 children, 14 nieces and nephews, and 40 plus grandnieces and grandnephews. I don't know how much she sent to everybody, but based on what she sent to my wife, her niece, and knowing how much she likes to be fair, the nieces and nephews each received a check for $1,000. Based on what she sent to our kids, I suspect each grandniece and grandnephew received a check for $500. There was also a very kind and personalized note to each person saying how much she loved them and imploring them to do something fun with the money and don't pay bills with it. It was so generous and sweet, and when a couple of kids came by this weekend for a barbecue, we talked about Aunt Louise and their plans for the money, and as I suspect was Aunt Louise's intent, we had happy conversations about fun plans. Then the email came. For background, Aunt Louise's daughter Kay audits her mother's finances in a way that would make the IRS blush. Last Christmas, she berated her mother for vacationing to New York City with a friend. Louise has always wanted to visit New York City at Christmas time. She has frequently talked about plans for her inheritance, with her still very much alive mother sitting right next to her. Kay sent my wife and others an email claiming that her mother is suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's, with a request, more on that below. While we suspected this was Kay being Kay, my wife did still call Aunt Louise just in case. All of this was news to Aunt Louise, who was lucid as always. Here's the best part. In the email, Kay asked everybody to send the money they received from Aunt Louise to her, rather than Aunt Louise. Kay nobly volunteered to handle all of the deposits herself to avoid being a burden on poor Aunt Louise, clearly too infirm to attend to such taxing matters. Oh, that's disgusting. In light of some of the times that Kay has helped herself to Aunt Louise's money without permission, stealing is such an ugly word. I'm fairly convinced not a dime would make its way back to Aunt Louise. Oh, that's awful. Oh yeah, send me all the money. Get out of here. Oh yeah, my mum has dementia. She didn't mean to send everybody money. Send it to me, I'll keep it safe. Yeah, I'm sure you will, Kay. There's a comment that says publicly shame her. Let everybody that received money know that you've spoken to Aunt Louise and that she's in good health. Watch Kay explode. And OP said you can't shame somebody who's shameless. You can call Kay out to her face and she'll look at you like, yeah, and? My wife did post something in the family Facebook group about it. Most of the replies were along the lines of, yeah, we figured. Wow, so everybody knows that Kay's like this? That's so bad. Oh, Kay's awful. The top comment says, I hope Aunt Louise has a legally sound will and executor lined up to make sure that Kay can't fight when Louise does eventually pass on. And also Also, remove any access that Kay currently has to her money and financial records. Kay is a piece of work. And OP said she's hired a law firm for this, knowing that if she appointed one of her sons, it would fracture the family. Sadly, it's long past that point. Aunt Louise is the only thing holding them together. The sons have mentioned to me repeatedly that after she passes, they don't care what happens to Kay. As for access, Kay can't access Aunt Louise's money anymore after helping herself to 15 grand back in the early 2000s. Kay still attempts to go through her mail when she visits. Oh my god, I hope Kay gets nothing. Yeah, this comment, if I were Aunt Louise, I'd be taking a lot of effort to make sure that Kay doesn't receive crap after all that behavior. If she has stolen money from her, she should face consequences for that. It's a form of elder abuse. This comment says, I used to do all the paperwork for neurologists in a clinic setting. A random relative trying to get power of attorney over an elderly family member finances was sadly a common occurrence. One incident involved a man whose children didn't like him gambling. My doctor examined him with his children present and said that he was clearly lucid. He could spend his money however he wanted. Your aunt should visit a lawyer and name one of her other kids executor of her estate. And OP said Aunt Louise has hired an accountant and lawyer to avoid this. Per one of her sons, she's hired the accountant to be the bad cop. When Kay comes asking for money, Aunt Louise blames the accountant. I'm sorry, honey, my accountant says it's not in my allowance. Yeah, well, that's good at least. Yeah, that's so awful. I hope Kay gets no inheritance. And also stole 15 grand from them. And what, there are no consequences for that? Get out of here. And is now attempting to steal everybody else's money that Aunt Louise gifted to them. Yeah, that's enough for today. That was such a wild episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I've got a cute wholesome meme to show you before I go. And boy, do we need something wholesome. This kid, probably 8 to 10 years old, asked politely if he could pet my dog. I said yes. After he pet her, he hopped on his bike, popped a wheelie and said, that was for you. Thank you for letting me pet your dog. Highlight of my day, to be honest. Wow, that's so cute. Yeah, the top comment, wheelies are the highest form of currency, to be honest. Oh yeah, 100%. I'll pay you in wheelies. But yeah, that's so cute and a beautiful place to end today's episode. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time today. And if you did, make sure you let me know down below in the comment section, and also like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Denim Ducky. Oh, I love the Sakura biome. I got a kick out of all the question marks on the screen when the family tradition was introduced. Yeah, same here. It's so beautiful, isn't it? A nice and beautiful and peaceful background for the concerning stuff that we're reading. And also thank you about the question marks too. I'm always thinking about better ways to edit in the episodes and stuff, and like cool stuff that I can put in the episodes. And yeah, even though there's not really a lot of stuff I can put in the episodes, I do feel like the question marks are pretty appropriate to a lot of the stuff that we read. And yeah, thank you for noticing that. I'll see you in the next episode, everybody. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!